Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Fast Track to Fearless Coaching Corner. And today we have got a brilliant question for me to tackle. So I'm just going to read it out. It's from Chloe. And she has said, I think a session on how to network fearlessly would be amazing. So Chloe, it's not just you, it's like everybody wants to know how to network. So she says to me, oh, well, you've been on the other side of this where I imagine more junior people would reach out to you for advice and to ultimately grow their network. And Chloe, it's not just been on the other side of it. I have been there. I have had to network, still have to network. So do it all the time. So she's asking, what kind of approaches were the most effective? How do you walk the line of wanting to strike up a relationship without feeling like you're wasting their time? And so I love this topic, and I do have a formula. And so I'm going to share that with you. So I am somebody who is not a natural extrovert. When I was younger, I was very, very shy, very, very reserved. And throughout my 20s was called things like abrupt and brusque. I didn't mean to be, but I was just a bit awkward. But I realized that actually talent and hard work were not going to be enough to grow my career, grow my network. So I realized that so much of success, I think, can be down to doing the hustle, doing the network, growing your network, meeting people. And as I said, it's not something that came naturally to me. So I did come up with a formula. So that's what I'm going to share with you today. So my first thing is, my number one step is when you're thinking about networking, whether it's being ready to have a chat with somebody if you bump into them in the street or at a festival or a panel or, some sort of conference that you're going to, if you are in a networking drinks environment, or if you are have booked in to have a networking coffee with them or whatever, is that the number one thing is that you have got to prepare your patter. Prepare what you are going to say, and prepare it so well that by the time it comes out, it feels absolutely natural. So what do I mean by that? So the very first thing I think is just prepare almost like a one-liner or a summary of who you are, what you do, and what you're wanting. So who you are, what you do, and what you're wanting. That's the absolute basics. And on top of that, you can add who you are, what you do, and how you do it, how you're known for doing it. Like, it's no good just saying, oh, I create and produce, or whatever it may be. You want to kind of add a bit of flavor to that. I'm known for creating XYZ, my specialism, or how I'm known for getting amazing access to difficult contributors, or whatever it is. Okay, so just prepare. Who are you? What do you do? And what are you wanting? So that takes a bit of work, right? Like just doing that bit, but it is the kind of foundation of good networking, is being prepared with your patter. So I've done a whole course on this, by the way, called Sell Yourself Fearlessly Without Feeling Like an Imposter. So if you're interested in that, check that out on fasttracktofearless.com. Anyway, so prepare your patter, step one. The second thing is, get out of your own head. So I don't mean go down to the pub and drink loads of booze, but it's not just about you. It's about the other person as well. So everybody is human. I've been on the other end of things, as a commissioner or as a, somebody that people were coming to meet. And you're still a person, whoever it is, even VIPs, even sort of the people that you are pitching to, even the people that you are wanting to meet are human beings and have lives of their own, worries of their own, imposter syndrome of their own. So when you are, what I mean by get out of your own head is, don't just think about you and how scared you are and what you're wanting. Think about that other person. So obviously, do your research. If you're going to meet a particular person, do your research about them. What have they been up to? What successes have they had recently? What are you curious about them? What do you have to say to them about what they've been doing? So get out of your own head and think about that other person. What is there that you can talk to that other person to about them? Now, if you are thinking about networking, like in a group or in a sort of like a drinks or a big conference type situation, and you're faced with a whole room of people and you don't know where to start, I always think that you just like look at the delegates list, choose 2 or 3 people that you want to make a beeline for, do your research on them, and then just go and find them out. So, I was at an awards ceremony the other night, and I knew quite a few people, but I didn't know a lot of people. And I turned up alone. And what I do in those big things is almost like do a figure of 8. I go around the room in a figure of 8 with my drink or whatever it is, and see whether I can find the next person to talk to, either somebody that I'd like to say hello to or somebody that I already know. And if you're doing that figure of 8, you're always kind of walking purposely somewhere. So you're not sort of standing like Billy No Mates in the corner looking sorry for yourself. And also, you do tend to bump into people. So, and it helps if you've prepared. If you've looked down the delegate list and thought, you know what, I'd really like to say hi to that person, or even actually at that award ceremony, there's loads of people I didn't know, but their work was being celebrated. So afterwards, that's a really easy thing to do, is go up and congratulate them. Everybody likes a compliment. Everybody likes to feel appreciated. So I don't care who it is, whether it's some really big, important, scary person or not. Everybody likes to be complimented on their work. So that's a really good one. Okay, so when it comes to the actual conversation, in terms of networking, what I find helpful is just to think like a 3-course meal, an appetizer or a taster, a starter, a main course, and then a dessert. So what do I mean by that? So the taster or the appetizer is just like the icebreaker. It's just a something to open the conversation. So that's either a compliment, or I really love your work on such and such, or I really I'm so pleased to meet you because I've been an admirer of your whatever for a long time. So something that is nice and tasty and an opener. It might be how you're connected, or it might be like, oh, you're a friend of such and such. They've always said such nice things about you. So find something small that you can just break the ice with. It's almost like an aperitif, a taster, whatever you want to think about it. The main course is get to the point of what's the meat of the conversation. And this is when you need to use your prepared patter. Like, who are you? What do you do? What is there interesting about you? And don't tell me that there's nothing interesting about you. There's loads of stuff, and this is what you need to prepare. So if you're having trouble with this, either give me a call or do my course, or just there's loads of assets on Fast Track to Fearless that help you do this thing. So it's just almost like what your one-liner. What is it that you do? What is the impact of what you do? What do you love to do? So get to the meat. Who are you? Introduce yourself. And you can always say things like, I'm so happy to meet you. I've always wanted to get on your radar. Do you mind if I just tell you a little bit about me? This is what I do. This is what I love to do. And then crucially, get to the point of what you're wanting. So even if that's like, I just wanted to get on your radar and keep in touch. Or if it's like, actually, what I've really got is I've got a project that I'd really love you to hear. Whatever, get to the point of what you are actually wanting. So now you can see why you have to prepare this. Who are you? What do you do? What do you want? So get to the meat. What is it that you're wanting? Even if it's just to meet them, even if it's just to get on their radar, even if it's like an agreement to stay in touch, or even if it's like, I just wanted to let you know I'm an expert in such and such. Do you have anything that's coming up that you think that I might be helpful for? Whatever it is, get to the point. And then the dessert bit is, I don't know what my mother always used to say, don't go empty-handed. If you're going to go around to somebody's house, don't go empty-handed. And I think it's almost like at the end of something, so that if you're wanting to build a relationship, so it's not just give and take, you're not just sucking them dry of information and just assuming that they are the one that's going to be useful to you. Always think about some sort of sweet dessert at the end where you can give back. It's like, if there's any way I can be helpful to you, if there's I'd love to invite you to such and such, or would you be able to actually, no, that's the wrong way around. That's still sucking at them. Can I do something for you? Or if it's like, actually, if you've talked about, I don't know, if you've talked about a book that you've mentioned, or you've mentioned a film, or you've mentioned this, that, and the other, it's like, oh, well, what I'll do is I'll send you that. I'll send you something or whatever. So leave with something sweet. And then my other thing is, at the end of sort of networking, is make sure there's an agreement on how you're going to keep in touch. So whether it's like, I always used to say, listen, is it, I'm just going to drop you a line randomly every 3 months just to keep you posted on what I'm doing. And people normally go, okay, fine, but that horrible feeling where you leave everything in the other person's court, and then you're there hanging because you don't know when they're going to call, if they're going to call. You leave it all down to them. Don't do that. Just say, I'm going to follow up with you, or I'm going to get back in touch with you. Is that okay? Or can I book in for another session or a longer chat with you? And if that's the case, just make sure you get their email, their LinkedIn, or I'm going to link in with you. That's the easiest thing to do, right, these days. Or who do I need to call to? Who do I need to email to get some time in your diary? So make sure you are holding the follow-up action point, that it's in your control. Because there's nothing worse than having a great conversation with somebody and then, thinking, oh, I'm waiting by the telephone or whatever for them to call. And on that note, I think it's the other thing I think about networking is keep it brief. Okay, don't keep them. Once all of that is done, then move on. And a lot of people say, oh, well, how do I get out of a conversation when I'm networking with, say I get stuck with somebody or whatever, or you feel that the conversation is over. You say things like, oh, well, I won't monopolize your time. I know you're really busy. So lovely to see you, and I'll follow up. Exit. Or you can say, if you're stuck somewhere with networking, say, it's that kind of thing. It's like, oh, well, we better go mix and mingle. I'm going to go that way. Just do it. That kind of thing. Just move off. Because everybody there in a networking event is there to meet lots of people and do the same thing. So those are just a fraction of my networking tips. If you want more, I'm making like a little PDF download checklist, so you can head to the link in my bio to get that for free. If you have any other questions for Coaching Corner, please do let me know, and let me know what you thought of this, whether it was useful, whether it was helpful for you, and let me know if you have success stories as a result. All right, take care. Bye.